All right, hello everyone, and welcome to the fifth episode of the PTA Podcast. Today we'll be going over patch 41 for Eternal Return Black Survival. It's been a while, but let's go ahead and reintroduce everyone for the podcast. So, my name is Brian, or Kiss My Waifu in VR and in-game.
And I am Iva Senpai. I'm a VTuber on Twitch. A lot of people just call me Iva. And my actual name is Jess, and you'll hear Brian and Haru call me Jess.
Hi, it's Haruichi here. Brian will call me Jake, which is my name, but I go by Haru, and Haruichi on Eternal Return.
All right, and it's been a while, guys. We took a break. There was I know you guys went on vacation. I didn't have anyone to fill in, so I didn't really feel like doing a solo podcast. But I know you guys went on vacation, and you guys caught COVID, but you guys are all good now, right?
Yeah, we're back finally, so it's nice to be back. And the last podcast actually that we did was probably about a month ago, so it's actually kind of us catching up again too.
We made it through. We survived COVID, and we've come back stronger and better than ever.
Truly, according to our DAC.GGs, our MMR has been skyrocketing.
Hey, we don't need to look too deep into DAC.GGs out here, but yeah, we're better than ever.
The nice thing also is that we'll be putting out more content as well, and I know that Haru started his own official YouTube channel as well, so look forward to seeing more from him.
Oh yeah, I'll be sure. I haven't linked that to the YouTube channel yet, but I'll be sure to do that, to link it to that and then my stream as well, for that way people can find it easier.
Thanks for mentioning that. And we also have videos going up on the actual PTA official podcast channel, on YouTube.
Yeah, on our actually, it's not on the official channel. It's actually on our clips channel, which I'm guessing is actually going to get more views than the full podcast. I suspect people are less likely to watch a 3-hour video than they are to watch a 10-minute video on a specific topic. But I'll be sure to have everything interconnected, hopefully, so it's easier for people to find. But yeah, since we've been gone, I believe it's been almost 2 months now. We had a couple new characters come out. The ones is worth mentioning, the ones that stick out, I don't remember exactly who we missed, but Ava and Jan seem to be like the strongest characters that we missed out on coming out. We'll start with Jan, the kickboxing character. I'll go ahead and start. When I saw his character release, like the details before he was in game, I say this character looks awful. He's not gonna be able to do anything against ranged characters. His kit looks really bad. The only way he'll be able to do anything is if people stand and fight with him. My opinion is changed. He's actually really strong in close quarters. If he can't get onto a ranged character, though, he does struggle as in that situation. But his build is incredibly fast. It's incredibly strong. Does a ton of burst damage, and he pretty much can just kill anyone in hospital that isn't done with their build, because that's where his build gets or passed to, and he's usually done when the first night ticks over. So that character, in my opinion, is incredibly strong.
I agree. I highly agree as well. I feel like Jan is very strong as well. I feel like if you can run, I guess the only thing is if you can run away from him, he really doesn't have room to kill you. Or if you are able to, if he misses all his skills, then I guess only then really will you have pretty decent chances. But he can really burst down people really quickly, which is very surprising. I didn't think that he would have that much damage.
The addition of Jan to the game has kind of made Hospital kind of just a scary zone to be in, 3rd or 4th zone, as we've seen from our many games. Especially when we play with Christian and he's playing Rio and he's 4th zone Hospital, so a little bit scary to play against.
Yeah, scary because his build is so fast. I think other characters have picked up on it too. You see Nikki's running that build too. So when the characters path together and they meet up there, as night is ticking over, when you TP into the zone, because it creates a ping when you TP in, anyone on the Jan's team can just collapse on them and just utterly destroy them.
Let's say I've never had a problem finding iron ore in cemetery before Jan, so I don't know.
Oh my god, don't remind me.
It's always gone.
There's 7 stacks of 3 iron ore in cemetery, and I can't find any when I run through there.
Yeah.
All right, and then Ava is the other big one, I would say.
She was super strong coming out, from what I understand. I missed her initial coming out, but I know that I got information from other players who played her when she first came out, and she was so strong they ended up giving her, like, they ended up toning her down, like, on release, and then again the next day, and she's kind of been getting toned down even more and more as we see.
Yeah, she's got like a really low cooldown on her Q. I feel like her biggest weakness is she doesn't have zone control. Like, her only CC is her W. You can't activate it early. It does knock up at the end of the duration, which is either like 2.5 or 3 seconds. But it's not reliable because you can easily just walk off of it. So her character is just damage. Like that's all it is. It's just pure unadulterated damage. So like she pokes with Q. Her ult has a 5-second cooldown, which is basically no cooldown. It's just completely based on like a separate energy bar. The biggest issue with that, well, we'll get to the biggest issue with that. But yeah, she just laser beams like Vel'Koz from League of Legends. It's just pure damage. She just has so much damage in her kit. But yeah, she doesn't have any CC, so the best way you deal with her is just get on top of her. Because she can't really ult you because her turn speed on the ult is relatively low. So if you can get behind her when she presses R, and then you're pretty much scot-free to just kill her. But her ult range is about 10 meters. It's approximately the same length you can throw a Luke Q. So if she can keep you at like arm's reach, she just does so much damage.
Yeah, she has a slow on her passive notes as well, right, with the telekinesis.
Yeah,
it's very minor though.
Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't really say it's like. She doesn't really create space with the slow. It's kind of like
Right.
Like an example. I don't know if you know Rio's short bow W. She throws out like the 5 arrows. Like that's a slow, but like whenever you ever hit by that and like, oh my god, I can't catch this Rio. You know what I mean? Like the slow on Ava's passive exists, but it's not like it doesn't really create space kind of thing.
I feel like with Eva, like she's very strong in squads if people can peel for her, and she can just basically be ignored and deal a bunch of damage. With Eva also, like, I noticed that in solos, the person who's playing her has to really kite you. Like they have to really know how to properly space against you in order to play her well. And I don't think I've seen a lot of her in solos because not a lot of people know that spacing.
Yeah, I don't imagine she's very good in solos. Yeah, without that peel that comes from like either duos or squads.
Right.
There's, I of course, I believe most of us have already reviewed the patch. There's a really nice nerf coming to her. She has an issue where her ult uptime is like really high. She seems to appear to never run out of her energy bar for using her ult. But they do address that in this patch, and I think that's one of her biggest problems in squads. Is it feels like her ult is just always up.
And I realized the character we finally forgot now. It's Daniel. Daniel literally just came out.
Alright, character is garbage. Moving on. He doesn't do any damage as a dagger character.
He needs a buff. Right now he's hurting.
Yeah, Daniel's issue is that his whole idea is his scissors empower his attack speed for 3 autos, and then he's basically supposed to just like wail on someone. You know Yone from League, right? You know he's got like his
right.
What's it called?
The knockup.
He's got something that I feel like enhances his damage. Maybe not. But anyways, it's like he marks someone and then... Oh, no, it's Zed. It's Zed, sorry. I don't know how I forget this. Zed'll, right? When you do like damage after you ult someone, and then it like explodes based on how much damage you've dealt to them in that time period. That's exactly how Daniel's W works. The issue is he just doesn't do damage. So that mark exploding just doesn't do anything. And his ult does damage based on missing health, which would be good, but he doesn't do enough damage to get people low in the first place. So, character is not good.
Not really. Yeah, he's not very good right now. I feel like I feel like Nimble Neuron is gonna look at the numbers eventually, because he was just released a while ago, and they're probably gonna go ahead and put him back into the system to quote unquote adjust.
Yep.
So I expect adjustments from him.
What do you think, Jake? Have you seen the Daniel wreak havoc in any of your games?
Yeah, Daniel.
Negative. I have not seen Daniel do very well in any of my games. Yeah, he just seems lackluster. I mean, there's not much to say about him.
Yeah, very obsolete. So, I feel like that. I think that's everyone up until now. So I think we can go ahead and move on to Jenny.
All right. Actually, a couple more things I do want to touch on that have been in the game because it's going to be relevant for this new character. They did add a new pistol. They reworked Devil's Marksman. Was there any other big changes? Crystal Tiara now builds into like a meteorite item. They've been adding like these different upgrades for items that if you have the item, you just get a meteorite and it makes a better version of it. I think Cabana was like the first example of this, where it was just commanders and it gets upgraded. They're really pushing meteorite to be a contestable objective, and because they spawn so many in the game, it's I really like the direction they're taking that. It does kind of feel like the first meteorite is RNG, whether you're looting a zone that it spawns in. I'm sure there's some characters that are routing specifically for it, but it doesn't seem like it's a consistent thing. Just kind of seems like it's if you're there, you take it kind of thing. But I do like the frequency of that meteorite spawn. I do like the amount of Tree of Lives that are in the game right now, and I do like the Alpha and Omega objectives. And then we can talk about Wiccaline a little bit later. Or no, maybe we can talk about it now. Let's talk about Wiccaline. So because they've added all these new objectives, Wiccaline now spawns half a day later into the game, but the zones still close at the same rate. I know we talked about this before after one of our games where we're trying to stall out Wick, but because Wick spawns later in the game and the buff lasts about like 5 minutes, most of the time it feels like you can't wait out the buff anymore before the zones close in too much.
Which I can see why they did that. Like, someone went through the trouble to go and compete for the objective, and they got the Wick buff, and they want to make sure that it's being utilized, like that's worth contesting for.
I'm gonna counterpoint that because it feels like some of the times where you're like, okay, it's time to go to Wick, and then you just run into another team. You guys fight it out, and let's say you win the fight. Well, there's probably another team that was taking Wick in the meantime because they didn't run into another team like
That's
you did.
true also.
That's when it feels bad. I feel like they need to slow down these zones closing a little bit more. I think they need to slow down those zones closing a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that's definitely probably the safer play. I feel like the addition of the new meteorites and trees, it just makes the game more dynamic. It's definitely it's forcing more fights in each game, which I love. You know, there's no like, oh, let's just rat all the way till Wickline spawns, and then we take the big one, right? There's more fights being forced, and it's just a more enjoyable game that way, I think.
All right, and then Stampede, Devil's Marksman, 2 new pistols. One reworked, one added to the game. Stampede is now I don't even know how you would describe it. It's a 2 ammo pistol. The second shot in the magazine deals extra damage based on your skill amp. So it's basically the new skill amp go-to pistol. Devil's Marksman has been reworked to be one of those meteorite upgrades. It's 2 pistols and an oil. You can one zone it from factory, and then you just need meteorite to finish it. It has a 7-round magazine, and the last round in the magazine deals even more damage than Stampede. And then it heals you for the damage dealt. However, my biggest issue with it is, as an amp character, you have no attack speed, so it takes forever to get to your 7th bullet. Despite how good the effect sounds, it's just having a 2-round magazine in a normal pistol versus a 7-round magazine, even though that last bullet does more, because you get that second bullet more frequently. Stampede is just a better Devil's Marksman and doesn't require meteorite at the moment, so definitely need to adjust that if you're going to have the meteorite pistol be like something that you want to get, because right now I'd rather use that first meteorite on Cabana and keep Stampede. Actually, I would never want Devil's Marksman right now. Like I would never want it.
Okay, so here's my opinion about Stampede and this situation with this last bullet stuff, right? If I'm playing a skill amp character, I have abilities. Those abilities do damage based on my skill amp. So why do I need a weapon that has the last shot as dealing skill amp? It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. I think that I just want my just old Devil's Marksman. Bring it back. Like, I don't know. That's just my hot take.
Do you feel like Rosie's hurting a little bit because of that? Or no, I'm sorry, Sylvia. Sorry.
Sylvia? I mean, Sylvia definitely feels not as strong without the extra skill damage Devil's Marksman, but it's just like I just the premise of having a bullet that deals damage based on my skill amp, it just feels like I just would rather have more skill amp on the pistol or more skill damage on the pistol, and then use my abilities to deal damage. That's the whole point of a skill damage character, right?